Hi there, Pod Fam. Welcome to Sacred Strategy Podcast with me, Sora Schilling. You'll notice that the past couple of episodes, I don't have an intro. And the reason being is that my laptop currently is being serviced at the Apple Genius Bar, and it needs a new battery, meaning that my little laptop has worked her butt off for a number of years and is in need of a little bit of a reset and a reboot and an upgrade. And I find that in my life right now, there are all of these different ways where I am energetically getting a upgrade and my batteries are starting to refill themselves. And so therefore, I thank you for listening and knowing that there is no intro right now. And I'd love to know from you if you like that better, if you find that it is helpful to go simply straight into it and not even have that introduction. Okay. So if you want to go ahead and leave me a comment or DM me at Devoted Way and let me know what your thoughts are about the podcast and the fact that there is no intro right now, or if you feel like it should be shorter of an intro going forward, I am so here to listen. All right, so this episode, let's talk about it. This episode is for that luminous leader. Yourself is who I'm actually speaking to right now, who knows your brand is captivating. Your presence online has this incredible specific resonance, and your clients are deeply held. And yet, at the same time, behind the scenes, there's a quiet, persistent burnout that lingers. And that is the energy you do not want because your batteries are coming to a place of completion and you need a reboot all the time. And you'd rather just get a simple new battery that is sustainable, right? And so this tiredness that is something that you're experiencing right now feels bone deep. It also feels quite ancestral. It is a wound that keeps coming up lifetimes worth, and you're ready to shift it. And so you're wondering in this moment in time whether this pace, this model of your business is something that is going to be sustainable and if your business could really last. And so I'm here for us to talk about that today. Let's talk about the untold cost of a magnetic brand that rests on an unsustainable business foundation because we often are in that place within our business. And it's time to really look at our foundation, our structure, and being able to really, really get clear on how we can create foundational pillars that makes our business feel more free. So here are three quiet culprits I see time and time beneath the surface of business burnout for coaches and healers. So there are three: offer overflow, visionary urgency, and the disempowered pricing rooted in self doubt. So, offer overflow is when you have a sprawling menu of services that comes from deep care but ends in decision fatigue for your people and depletion for you. So, for example, have you ever been to a diner or have you ever been to, let's say, New York Cheesecake Factory? Is that what it's called? Or Cheesecake Factory? It's been years since I've been there. All I remember is that there was a menu and the menu must have been 15 pages long, right? It's one of the things that we love about diners, but also diners, there are so many different options and they run the gamut. There's so many different things that you can choose from. And so when you are very hungry or when you are exhausted already, to look at so many options can actually feel overwhelming. Same idea. The second is visionary urgency. This drive that you have to birth all of your ideas at once. You have so many ideas, you have so many different visions and goals and dreams and desires and aspirations, and you want it to have happened yesterday. And so, therefore, you are taking steps to get there, forgetting that there's some foundational steps that you have to take in front. It's like my nephew who deeply desires to be able to run. He has just turned one and he is learning to stand, but he's not walking yet. But you can tell all he wants to do is run. But if he did not understand how to begin to acknowledge his feet and what it means to place weight on it and strengthen his muscles, how is he ever going to get to run? But we do this all the time as adults, right? And so, therefore, you have all these ideas and it leaves your energy feeling fragmented and scattered, and your schedule is unsustainable. Okay, last culprit is disempowered pricing rooted in self doubt. Instead of anchoring pricing from a place of embodied leadership and self trust, many coaches and healers, and maybe you, unintentionally price from a place of not enoughness. Okay, I'm going to say that again. Instead of anchoring pricing from a place of embodied leadership and self trust, you may unintentionally price from a place of not enoughness. There's this quiet, very disruptive pattern that one might need more certification, more courses, more external validation before they feel, quote, ready to charge more. So, how many times have you said to yourself, well, I need more clients? I need to have that additional certification. I don't know how to do that, so I need to take that next course. And that's why I can't price what I want to price. And while ongoing growth is beautiful and is needed, this cycle often masks a deeper fear of being seen as a sacred thought leader. And as a result, pricing stays low, but your capacity gets stretched. And so, therefore, resentment builds and the magic starts to dim itself within you. Your magic and medicine begins to dim and it becomes generic, and you are not generic. Not because the work isn't powerful, but because it's no longer sustainable. And so, of course, you're going to self sabotage yourself. So, what are the reasons why you might feel this exhausted? What might be leading you to the edge of burnout, even though everything looks good from the outside? I do desire for you to take a moment and contemplate that. I'm going to say those questions again. What are some of the reasons why you specifically might be feeling exhausted? And what might be leading you to the edge of burnout if you're not already there, even though things might look good from the outside? Okay, the first reason is that in your devotion to service, you've made your offers far too complex. You deeply care about making your work accessible and meeting your people where they are. And so you create a myriad of offers. Maybe you have circles and one on one sessions. Oh, but you don't have just one on one session. You have five different one on one sessions with five different types of modalities. You also host a retreat. You also have an online course. You have a group program. You have several digital downloads that are available. You have free content. You have bonus classes. You have private one on one elevated coaching. You've got payment plans, early bird specials, scholarships. Oh, there's so much that you have to remember. And while the heart behind it is so beautiful and generous, the impact is actually your clients are freaking confused. Your community doesn't know what the next sacred yes is. You have these amazing names for things and you are selling these things, but they just finished trying to figure out what the last thing you were talking about. And so people are overwhelmed and they freeze. And not only do they not want to buy then, but they begin to quietly disengage with you. They're no longer feeling at ease by being in your presence. Instead, they're feeling really scattered. And that's not why they come to you to begin with. And so, therefore, I believe that clarity in your offers is such an important thing to remember. Okay, so the second culprit again is that sense of urgency, not the hustle urgency that we reject outwardly, right, through society conditioning, but this kind that's rooted in this desire to create and serve on an epic proportion that you want to share your medicine so wildly that you are trying to go fast pace. I understand and honor and celebrate that you're multi passionate, you're multidimensional, you're a visionary, and you're incredibly generous. And that is why you're part of this community and why I absolutely adore and respect you. And so, what you want to do is do all the things and get all the things happening yesterday. But when everything is alive at the same time, you're energetically splintered. You are holding multiple rooms at once, each with a different temperature, a different set of clients' needs, a different marketing rhythm. And suddenly, what feels like was so much joy built in now feels like an added pressured weight. It's as if you have a home and there are four rooms, and now they're all filled with family. All at once they have come, and you have to manage everyone's needs, expectations, their time. You need to make sure that they're having fun. You need to make sure that dinner is prepared, and there's so much weight involved. And it's not because you don't love it and it's not aligned. It's just that the structure that you have doesn't support the capacity of what's required, right? Okay. And the third, which I want to linger on a little bit, is about pricing, but not in the way you think, because I often see pricing is not just a strategic decision, it's an energetic reflection of our self trust. So it's a mirror for where we are still outsourcing our authority. So here's what I mean. Often I witness clients pouring money into more certifications, more trainings, more coaching, more courses, not because they deeply desire to learn even more. They don't have the capacity for it, right? They're actually not even doing most of it, but they purchase it thinking that if they don't know something, that they must trust and give their power off to someone else to validate that they are ready because more credentials, more completion of a course, more knowledge would then mean that they will feel more comfortable in raising their price. When actuality, the way that you get comfortable in increasing your price is doing the inner work, is having a coach celebrate you and remind you why and have you realize the reasons why raising your price is going to create more sustainability for yourself. And that is then going to help you energetically step into that embodied state of an increased price. That gives you the ability to then get to a place of being in communion, in relationship with the frequency of that price. It's not then about your worthiness, about your preparation. That's what's required. But that takes inner work, that takes being uncomfortable, that takes being able to stretch, that takes some time that's required, which means you can't be running ahead doing all these things. You must carve out sacred time to do the spiritual work. And so I say this with so much compassion because I've been there. I've sat with the spreadsheets and I've dreamt and started to then do other courses and wondered if I would ever get to be able to charge that, the thing that I see other people charging, and feeling so inspired, but also frustrated that I'm not at a place where I can raise my rates, which is a limiting belief and something that is actually not true. And so I had all these fears about losing people, people not being able to pay for it. And it came from a wounded place and a place of saviorism. And that's not a place I want to be as a coach for other coaches, right? And so I don't want to be in a space of martyrdom. I don't want to be exhausted and resentful. And so, therefore, I want to step into that sovereign queen of business in my pricing. So, my questions to you are, what would shift if you began pricing as a sovereign queen in your business? What if you trusted that your presence, your medicine, your experience, and your integrity are the most valuable things you offer? So here are some invitations to sit with, okay? Where in your business are you still overgiving to prove your worth? I mean it. Let's get real. What would it mean for you to sit in the discomfort and really do the spiritual work to expand the frequency and the vibrational match of pricing that feels expansive? What might your pricing be protecting a part of you that feels unready or unworthy? What does sovereignty feel like in your body when you name a price that honors the full truth of your labor, your brilliance, and your energetics? Now, you don't have to shift it all overnight. That is not the idea here, right? That defeats the entire purpose of what I was talking about. But this is your moment to pause and begin to recalibrate. And if you desire some additional support in this, especially the energetics, then I have created a free pricing guide to help support you. And it's called I Wish I Could Charge That. Okay. It'll take you all of 5 minutes to identify what's holding you back and begin to shift those beliefs and really name your pricing. And if you want to be in a community where we navigate this further, and there's additional business tips I give specifically this week around pricing, then I invite you to go ahead and join the Devoted Collective. It is a free community that's inside of Circle, the platform. And I'll be going live to share some additional things to help support you in shifting that pricing identity that you're currently having to step into that sovereign queen, badass CEO, energetic archetypal energy. So let's go ahead and keep this conversation alive. Let's create businesses that really honor our capacity and our wisdom and our deepest truth. Until next time, sacred strategist, enjoy your bold, bold business and have a delicious week. Bye for now.